Pat McAfee seeming to troll his bosses once again because ESPN is now in bed with the WWE as well. And this really blurs the line. Here's formerly a news organization involved with reality TV, and maybe they've always been involved in reality TV. This is all what it is. But here's Pat McAfee trolling his bosses over Twitter. Congrats to the WWE and ESPN on getting a historic PLE deal done. Great to see two powerhouses of sports and entertainment come together. I assume all the mid-level, powerless, bum-ass suits at ESPN will attempt to muddy this somehow out of context leaks and ignorant anonymous opinions, etc. But in this agreement this agreement will outlive the dinosaurs currently guarding desks in Bristol, and this deal will be great for ESPN. Cheers to the future. Couple things, I think Pat's a bit misguided, but this is certainly good for Pat McAfee. This empowers Pat McAfee even more. He's already got a long-standing relationship with the WWE. He's involved in it. Now they're partnered with ESPN. Pat McAfee is clearly the most powerful talent at ESPN, dwarfing Stephen A. Smith, dwarfing Troy Aikman, dwarfing everybody. Agree, disagree, Steve?
I think he's the most independent. I don't know if he's the most powerful. I don't even know what to think about this. As someone that covers boxing, I think it's amazing that for the time being, ESPN's out of boxing, but they're in the WWE. If you would have told me even 10 years ago that this would happen, I'd say it's inconceivable. But to me, I think it further blurs the line, if you want to call it that, between the intersection of sports and entertainment. I mean, look, one time I was a pro wrestling fan, but I don't want to call it fake, but it is scripted. So that's my biggest thing about this whole thing is, wow, they have really hit the mainstream. But it's clear when it gets back to McAfee, he's got a certain freedom and an independence that nobody else really has. But to his credit, he also has the guts to actually express it. I think there's a part of this I really do admire.
Does it take guts at this point, given the level of power? And I'm not trying to hate on him. I'm just trying to look at reality. He's got so much power. I don't know if this tweet is courageous. It's just more, hey, I can do this. It's just trolling.
Well, it's definitely antagonistic. And that's I can't think. Stephen A. had a lot of power for a long time at ESPN. There have been a lot of people who had a lot of power at ESPN for a long time, the talent. When was there ever a talent that was this antagonistic towards their employer?
We haven't seen, and oh boy, I was to open up a can. The last person that pretended to be this way was a guy named Howard Stern. He called his bosses pig vomit and, really went at his bosses. WNBC! And, he'd mock his bosses every chance he got. And turns out Howard Stern was a fraud. Pat McAfee, are we seeing the Howard Stern? And this is all just a gimmick. It is, Stephen A. never went this route because, one, Stephen A. has never built his own audience the way that Pat McAfee did. ESPN handed him an audience and force-fed an audience on him. And he just doesn't have Pat McAfee's talent. He doesn't have Pat McAfee's credibility. Pat McAfee played in the NFL, and I know it was a punter, but he played in the NFL. Stephen A. made up a college basketball career at Winston-Salem State. Anyway, Steve, I'll give you the final thought here.
I don't know what to really say other than that Pat McAfee says a lot, but that is the safety net of having your own platform. I mean, if Pat McAfee, let's say whatever reason, was either jettisoned or decided to leave ESPN, in theory, he could go right back to YouTube and still have a significant audience on a day-to-day basis. I would say 99% of everybody else at ESPN, regardless of their name, could not do that. I remember for about 20 years, there used to be this thing where if you left ESPN, even if you went to another major network, corporate legacy media, your career took a downturn. No one ever came back and said, no, I don't need ESPN. Maybe McAfee is that rarity. He truly does not actually need the 4-letter monolith.
But maybe they need him, and that's why I'm wondering if Pat McAfee is to ESPN what Donald Trump was to the GOP, meaning he was such an outsider, and when he started, nobody embraced him. The people did, but the GOP certainly did not in any way. Go back and look at 2016 when he declared and came down the golden escalator. And now he's totally remade the GOP in his image. Is ESPN at some point, do they need him so much? I mean, the guy took over. The best show they got going is College Game Day, and he is College Game Day now. You turn it on, and it is him leading the way, standing up on a chair, and you have Howard cackling in the background and Kirk Herbstreit. He's taken over the show. So at some point, and he's on everything. He's on Sundays now. He's on Saturday. The guy works 7 days a week. Is he going to end up replacing all these ESPN? Is he just targeting people one by one to replace everybody on the back end of ESPN?
NBA Countdown with Pat McAfee. Stephen A. Smith, our sideline reporter. Let's keep it moving. Stephen A. Smith has played the race card on Jerry Jones for getting in this dispute with David Mulugheta, Micah Parsons' agent, or refusing to deal with him. Let's play the clip here of Stephen A. Smith playing the race card on Jerry Jones.
Because now, yes, I'm going to say it. It is taking on racial connotations. And in racial connotations, here's what I mean by that. You cannot sit up there and say that you had a negotiation with a player and you're not talking to his representation. That is, I mean, that reeks of you trying to take advantage of somebody. And listen, years ago, and I covering the NBA, Commissioner David Stern, you had players that were so offended by sitting across the table from him and some of the things that he would say. And I would look at them and I go like this. If somebody rolled up to Michael Jordan, LeBron James, D. Wade, or one of us and just said, we want to play you one-on-one, wouldn't you be insulted? Well, that's how that man felt with you sitting across from the negotiating table with him, because that's his lane. You understand? This is not what you do, not compared to him. And what I'm saying is Jerry Jones is a multi-billionaire. Okay, the Dallas Cowboys franchise is worth over $10 billion. This man is negotiating deals for breakfast. This is what he does.
Yes, it is. And bullying agents is what NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, this is what they do. This is my issue with Stephen A. Smith. And I know many of you, it's personal. You're just jealous. You hate. No, the man has no journalism real experience. This is commonplace. What Jerry in a dispute with an agent and trying to cut the agent out and going directly to the player, that's been going on since the beginning of time. Anybody that remembers my career in Kansas City probably remembers the Chiefs drafting an offensive tackle by the name of John Tate. John Tate had an agent by the name of Ethan Locke. Carl Peterson, the general manager, hated Ethan Locke and tried to go around Ethan Locke and get directly to John. This is what ownership and high-level executives, they hate the agents. And Jerry Jones went on to explain to you, hey, man, Mulugheta, reminds me of Jay-Z. And these other guys that want to hip-hop the whole agency deal. This is nothing new. This isn't racism. This is millionaires arguing with a billionaire. And the players, a lot of times, there's many players that don't want an agent. They think, look, man, these contracts are all cookie cutter, copy and paste, and I can do the research on what guys at my level get paid. Anyway, Stephen A. just playing the race card because that's what they do at ESPN. I think it's unfair. Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all your fearless friends.